Giving that the Franklin Zoning Board of Appeals will come to order. Meeting is online, and you can is being recorded and televised. The listing of matters is those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting will be held via Zoom platform. Please log in at there's a big login thing. You can get it from the if you go to the town's website and ZBA meetings. You may also join the meeting on your smartphone by calling 1-929-205-6099. For those looking to view the meeting, it can be viewed live at this time on Comcast Channel 11 or Verizon Channel 29. It is also streaming directly from Franklin's TV's website. Visit franklin.tv and just click on Town Hall TV channel. Time being 7:30.
Time being approximately 7:30 p.m. Parcel 219-178-002-000 Bruce Wheeler. Applicant is seeking to modify previously approved comprehensive permit.
Applicant present?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is Attorney Babowski on yet?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right. Where did we leave off, gentlemen? We were going to do we had our engineer do some review. I'm not sure what he actually reviewed. Is Joe on the call?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
I may have to leave before, the meeting is ended, but I'd just like to quickly address one issue. Attorney Bobrowski forwarded me a memo that was from the, I guess, your planning department relative to the affordables having to be exactly like the markets. We've had this conversation at the last meeting. There were views on it, which is reflected in the memo. There was attached to the memo emails from RACO at DHCD indicating that the affordables and the market rates have to be comparable. My office spoke to RACO today, and we're in the process and submitted to DHCD a request to transfer the permit. My office spoke to RACO today, and we can apply for a waiver from the per se requirement that the affordables be, and I'm going to use this word generally, identical, at least in outside appearance, to the market rate units. We're going to submit that. We're in the process of submitting that with the approval of the transfer of the permit to this applicant. And I would hope that by the next meeting, which I'm going to assume is going to be about another month away, that the DHCD will have acted on the waiver request. And at that point, if the waiver is granted, then we can proceed without this kind of discussion or cloud over the application. And the only thing I would point out to the board, and I don't want to, lengthen this conversation, is, yeah, we are building 60 new units, but the project has other units in it that were previously built, et cetera. So in any event, and we're bigger, our affordables are bigger than those units, et cetera. But in any event, we're going to apply with the application, the application for transfer, and I would hope to be able to report back to the board at the next meeting the action that DHCD has taken, either approving or not approving that request. You know, again, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I mean, the only concern of the town, from what I understand, is that maybe they wouldn't look kindly upon the affordables being a little bit small, and they may not count towards our affordable stock. That was the only concern. So if you get a waiver for it, that's fine with us.
Okay.
You know, and I would assume that the decision would say, as long as you meet DHCH or whatever the letters go together, that you know, as long as you meet their applicability, then you'll be all set. You know, as long as they're all set with it, we're all set. So if they want to give you a waiver for it, that's fine.
Thank you
I
very
wasn't
much.
I wasn't gonna make a big deal of it tonight because I know we're far from that point, but I'm glad to hear that you're already working on it. So hopefully they'll give you the waiver, and I can see the argument about being bigger than what's there now, what the other affordables are. But anyway, so all right.
Mr.
So
Chairman, if
maybe-
I can, just so that the members have a standard in mind here. This is the guidelines for LIP comprehensive permit projects promulgated by DHCD. Exterior appearance, all low and moderate income housing units developed through the LIP shall be indistinguishable from market rate units as viewed from the exterior unless the project has an approved alternative development plan. The second sentence is not relevant. So that's basically what you're working with.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. Mr. Piznola, evidently there was some back and forth between you and the applicant. I know you had this memo. They evidently answered a lot of things. I don't know, 1 through 13 or 6 through 13, or whatever it was. I saw a memo come back today. You have anything you want to add? I know, and I'm not sure exactly what you're working with. Have they provided some new documents to you that I haven't seen yet?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, they just provided today a revised set of plans and the response letter, as well as some details on the wetland crossing and some defense of getting a little bit narrower in cross section at that wetland crossing in response to what the Conservation Commission would like to see, minimizing the wetland impact in that area. I haven't done a thorough review of all of the materials submitted today, but they are seem to be responding to what my initial letter went over. My letter was broken into 3 sections. Or 4 sections. First was zoning. And on the zoning, there really wasn't anything within the plans or the submission materials with regards to compliance or non-compliance with zoning or waivers. So they've provided now a full waiver list, and the board can review that. I can review and comment as well. My initial reaction to the waiver list is it seems very generic and without specificity with regards to how they are coming down with regards to zoning compliance. They merely say section XYZ, we want it per the plans. And I always recommend that there's at least some specificity so you understand the degree of relief that you're granting through the requested waivers.
Yeah, I don't think that we've ever accepted just a general waiver from whatever, you know, without some sort of an explanation. So
So we can, yeah, they can get into it a little bit more in detail. I asked for information on parking. They seem to be compliant or reporting that they're compliant with parking with 2 spaces outside each unit plus some visitor parking spread throughout. Appears they're not counting the interior garage spaces, which is always a little bit of a concern when they do. So that's a good thing because you can't. It's hard to regulate people using their garages for storage. So I think they're more than compliant without even counting the garages. My second section was on stormwater, and although the details are sparse, I did have a follow-up conversation with Mr. Hassett from Garia and Halnon and asked some pointed questions with regards to the total volume that they're supplying within the 3 proposed infiltration basins, information on prior soil testing and, where they are comparatively with impervious surfaces in this project versus the other. They're dramatically increasing the storage volume, and they do have a decrease in the impervious. So I'm comfortable that they can design a system that will utilize the area that they've set aside for the 3 infiltration basins, and it's not going to dramatically impact the layout of the project. So if that's the way that they would like to proceed and the board is accepting of the level of detail, I can at least express to the board that I'm comfortable that final plans would be able to prove out that they've done what they have to from that standpoint. The third was on utilities, and I just asked them to put a little bit more detail with regard to the utilities and provide some information with regards to demands for water and output for sewer. And I believe they've done that within the response. And then my last section was just on general layout and circulation, and I asked them to do what we call a swept path analysis for a fire truck moving around the site. They did that in the plans that were submitted today, and it looks like that's acceptable, but the fire chief should take a look at it just to make sure. One of my biggest concerns with the configuration here is where they're coming off of Leanne Circle. Leanne Circle was supposed to intersect this main drag going into phase 2 at a right angle and be under stop sign control. Well, the way they built Leanne Circle was kind of a continuous loop. And when you look at the proposed plan, what you've got here is a Y intersection, essentially, where people could just continue to kind of round the corner up Leanne Circle, and there could be some conflicts. So I really think that needs to be reconfigured in accordance with the original plans, which is going to mean work within the phase 1 to cut some pavement and reconfigure that in a more of a T intersection, and get a stop bar down, get a stop sign down. So their response today to that call was that they would continue to investigate it. I really don't think there's anything to investigate. I think the original plan was proper, and I think that they need to put it that way. So I guess logistically or procedurally, we need to understand how they have permission and rights, and what is the process for them to go on to what is now a condominium association property and affect changes. It's obvious that they have to, that their road isn't built, and the beginnings of their road is on that condo property. But this other reconfiguration, I would defer to Attorney Bobrowski with regards to whether their condo docks were set up in a way that envisioned this and gave the future developer of phase 2 the right to essentially do whatever they needed to do to comply with the original approvals. That's pretty much it, Mr. Chairman. Again, I can go through the plans that were received today and the response letter that was received today and put a more formalized written response to you and the members in the coming days.
Yeah, that's fine. Like the applicant mentioned, we're probably not going to, we're probably going to continue this till April 21st. As I kind of got the inkling that he wanted to extend it for a month. So it'll probably take that long to get everything done. The only thing I'm disappointed in is that the applicant, I don't think that we've got any plans, and the applicant's still on the call. I'm not sure that we ever got any plans dropped off the town hall in case somebody, obviously we have to have them in case one of the abutters or anybody with a person with interest may want to look at the plans to see what you're actually doing. So if you haven't done
absolutely.
that, I'm disappointed. I think you should have done that too. And you should also know, and I'm sure you do, that dropping off a set of plans today doesn't require a response from our consultant, but he took the time to do it, so. And I don't know if the applicant's still on the call or who wants to answer that question. Who's responsible for the plans? Is he on the call for the applicant?
Yes, Bruce Wheeler here. I am on the call. We did an initial response to Mr. Piznola 3 weeks ago, and then he reviewed the initial response, and about a week ago clarified, asked for clarified some additional information, and that additional information that was requested 7 or 8 days ago is what we just submitted today. The initial plan submission to Mr. Piznola was 3 weeks ago, and then there's been a round of back and forth.
Okay, we're gonna need it. We're gonna need some copies of that dropped off at the town hall.
Yeah. Is it? I don't remember if the town hall is open on Friday.
Open till 1.
So 1. So Mike, is it possible to get plans dropped off tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And how many do we know how many sets of plans are required?
I think the application calls for 8, but I mean, we gotta, if we want to send one to the engineering department and anybody else, and if one of the members might want to set to look at, there's 5 of us. So, if you can get us 8 would be great. I'm not trying to burn some forest down, but I'd like to, we have to leave one with the town. We have to leave one with the town clerk, and one at the office, so it's available, when people want to come in and look at it.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we'll do that, and I apologize for that not happening already.
Okay. All right, is there any abutters or anybody that has any comments or questions about this particular project?
Mr. Chairman,
Sure,
this is Maxine. I would like to just make a quick comment.
okay,
I did speak to Rieko. She is the LIP director at DHCD. And late this afternoon, I asked and got an opinion that if the town approves this without them getting the waiver, approves the affordable market rate units as they're shown, if they approve it, they won't be counted on our subsidized housing inventory.
okay.
That's all I
I
wanted
think,
to say.
I think whatever decision we come up with is going to be contingent upon them meeting the rules and regulations of whatever's called for, whatever DHCD determines that they have to do. So,
Okay, thank
and I'm
you.
sure they're aware of that because he's already mentioned that he filed for a waiver, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure,
we haven't filed for a waiver yet, and I think that segues into just a request. We have been, I am always transparent, and I always make my applicant transparent, and I've always used Mr. Bobrowski as the point person to explain any issues that are going on and et cetera. So I was surprised to see the memo from the town earlier this morning that apparently there'd been conversation going on with DHCD while we were corresponding with DHCD as to amending our application, and DHCD had previously asked in that correspondence for elevations of the units, which we gave, which are identical, market or affordable, and the site plan. So if folks are going to be writing to anybody, I really would appreciate it if they could copy us, because we're all trying to get to the same place. And it's a lot more difficult, when things go on and then we have to react, to those as to be part of the process. So, I do apologize for the failure to get the plans delivered, but Joe has been very good on his emails, copying everybody. There's 8 or 9 or more, and people that he sees in his email. And I believe Mr. Hassett, did copy everybody. So we're trying to keep everybody in the loop to get to the same place. And so if an issue is brought up, if you want to write to whoever, if somebody could just copy us, then we can react appropriately. And, if we have any information to provide to move the process along, it would be helpful. In a way, I think, the conversation with DHCD in the last month that we didn't have, we weren't involved in, delayed things on our part to get the permit transferred. But that's all. So if people are going to copy people, please do. Whatever concerns anybody has, please do. But could they really just provide us with copies? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, well, let's just bring up the copies or the emails. I'm looking at the original email went out last night at 8:30 at night, less than 24 hours ago. It was forwarded to me this morning at 6:53 a.m. I forwarded it on to Attorney Grabowski shortly thereafter. So, I can't help what another department does. I don't control that department, but she does have a concern about the project, which she's expressed before. So she's just going ahead with doing her job. I wasn't going to make a big deal about it tonight. You brought it up. So we're just trying to clear the air. That's all. I don't think anybody's going behind your back or, anything, as a matter of fact, the whole idea of those units don't really bother me. So I don't think it's an issue with many people, but
Thank you.
anyway, I'd rather see the 23 or 24 affordable units built and get on the rolls. And then if you got to deal with HDCD, whatever the numbers are, letters are, then that's going to be your problem, not ours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
this
Matt.
one, I'd be very happy to send anything to him. I don't have his contact information.
Okay, Casey will get it to you.
Okay,
Okay, thank
Yep.
you. All right, hon. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, we had talked on the phone today about getting Mr. Pesnola's opinion on whether traffic review ought to be engaged. If I could ask through you to Joe, do you have an opinion on that?
Certainly, Mr. Chair, I don't believe so. I think the receiving streets are acceptable. I don't know of any issues in the area, and we're talking about 60 units. So
No, I completely agree. I'm not concerned about the traffic. Once it gets to Lincoln Street, it's Flecker Road or whatever the major road. It's just
Lincoln
been
Street.
redone, it's paved and everything else. So,
yeah,
you know,
Lincoln
the-
Street
the-
looks good.
anyone else? Hearing none, I'll go to the board. Megan, any questions, comments?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Chris, how about you?
No, I think some good points are brought up and looking forward to a resolution on these. Thank you.
Okay, Archie?
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, Philip?
Yeah, see what happens with the waiver.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I think Attorney Grabowski will have it worded, so they're gonna have to meet the guidelines of, to make sure that they're affordable. And I've had some conversations with other people too, that it'll work out. It'll work itself out, but okay, Mark, you want to add anything before we move along?
I'm just mindful of the project that we did maybe 3-4 years ago with Bob Engler, in which they came in and proposed, I think they started at all 3 bedroom units, and we whittled them back. If I remember, Mr. Chairman, it was
It was 40, it was 40 3-bedroom units.
And we cut it back.
We cut it back to, they ended up with 14 threes and 18 twos. So, and they cut the units back to 32.
Okay, so the applicant in this case is proposing 25% of the units at, Mr. Levine will correct me if I've got the numbers wrong. We spoke about this today. 25% of the units at 2 bedrooms with the remainder at 3. And I just remembering what happened in the previous case alerted him that asking is not the same thing as receiving. So I don't know if the board wants to express any sort of initial opinion about a project with that many 3-bedroom units. It is, it's not an apartment building, as Mr. Levine pointed out to me, where you would expect 10% of the units under DHCD regulations to be 3-bedroom. But I don't want this to go very far before people express an opinion. For planning purposes, it would be useful to know what the board's mindset is. It might not be tonight, but I've put it on the table for you to think about.
The only
I
thing I
think-
would add to what Mark
Go ahead.
said is the proposal is of the 60 units, 25% would be 2-bedroom. They would be all market rate units. None of the affordables would be 2 bedrooms. The remaining units would be 3 bedrooms, remembering that 19 of those are affordable. And the remain, whatever my math is here, I guess the remaining 19 is it 26? Yeah, I guess 26 would be 3-bedroom market units. So effectively, in a way, you're restricting 34 of the 60 units. But again, none of the affordables will be 2-bedroom. And, we're
Okay.
making up also for the
No, I understand. And that's, you said 19. What is the, what's the total affordables? Is it 19 or 23?
19 affordables, which is 31.6% of the development. 19 out of 60 are affordable. So that's a significant burden to have that high of a percentage of affordables that we're absorbing. But it's 19 of the 60 are affordable.
Okay, and that adds up to 25% counting the other project?
That's 30. Yeah, the total project ends up being 25%. That's correct.
Okay, that's what we're looking for. Okay,
Yeah, you get 25%. This phase is 31.6%, but the whole thing is 25%.
okay. Is there any room for a couple of, what did he say now? You're gonna be like, have 14
I'm gonna have
2-bedroom market rate?
I'm gonna have 15 2-bedroom market rate units, and the balance of the market rates will be 3-bedroom. So
Okay, all right.
25% of the development would be 2-bedroom.
Okay. And what are we doing with the affordables? They're gonna be all 3-bedroom?
All 3.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what it said, that we're not restricting, we put all the markets into the 2 bedrooms. So we didn't
Okay.
want anybody to say that, we were.
Right, no, I
putting-
understand. That's why I just asked the question. I just wanted to clarify it. Okay, how's that cover it, Mark?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, good. I thought there was gonna be more pushback on that, but I'm glad that the applicant,
We wanted to come out and we did the best we can. We spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. We didn't want to goof around with you. We wanted to come forward with really the best we could do and not have
yeah,
an
no, I
unproductive
feel,
back and forth.
yeah, no, thank you very much. Any of the other members have any questions or comments that they might want an answer for in a month from now? Megan?
No, I can't think of anything to ask, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right, fine. Archie,
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman.
Chris,
All set. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Philip?
What's that?
There's one question that I want, and I don't know who's gonna task it finding the answer, but Mark, what do we do about, I know this is technically one project with two separate owners or two separate developers. They brought up the question about fixing the intersection and using the road. I mean, can we put this project or Part B, make them part of the original condo association? How's that gonna work? That's one of my biggest concerns, because they got quite a length of roadway coming in there. I know when it was developed, it wasn't that great. I don't know if it's been top coated lately. I haven't been down there, but it was in a pretty well, it was in some disrepair not that long ago, but I don't know. I thought I heard somebody say they overlaid it, but I don't know how you split that up to get somebody using somebody else's road that the town doesn't have any say over.
Well, I guess you've identified my task next week as reading the damn condo document. So I will have an answer for you after I've done that.
Okay,
And-
all right.
and We're, Mr. Chair, we are willing to follow Mr. Peznola's suggestion with regard to the intersection. I'll communicate directly with the condominiums association for parcel A, and I have had significant communication with them already. I know that we have the right to pass and repass. I'll also confirm our rights with regard to construction, and we've had we've had a lot of positive communication with that group, and I'll get connected with them next week. I'm actually gonna be going to their annual meeting coming up in April, which is before we meet again. I believe it's April 14th. But if not, it's within a day or two of that. So I'm going to be going and meeting with the entire community beyond the smaller group that I've been interacting.
Yeah, you're gonna bring drinks and trinkets with you when you go, you know?
Most definitely.
I mean, what's your plan? I mean, is your plan to have a separate association, or is
Yes,
it to
we'll
join
have
this?
it. We're going to have a separate association.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, it's
Yep.
gonna be a separate condominium, but Bruce has had conversations with the condominium, I believe, trustees, and we offer them a benefit, not only potentially improving or upgrading the road, but going forward to reducing the cost of maintaining the road by sharing it with them. And we understand that. So
Okay, good.
in terms of plowing and things like that, it's economies.
I just don't want
Chairman?
people, yeah,
This is Diana Deschamps. I'm one of the abutters. I'm over at 24
Okay.
Shane.
Yep.
At the next board meeting for the association, there's going to be a new panel of trustees. So the current three
Okay.
trustees that are representing the association are no longer going to be on the board. So any of the verbal agreements are just verbal. So there needs to be more formal agreements so that we can have a clear understanding moving forward about what the rights are for the roads. I mean, right now the address on parcel B is Lincoln Street, so it's not off of Leanne or off of Trooper Way. So we just need to make sure that everything is written down and documented and captured appropriately.
Yeah, well, our consulting attorney is gonna read the HOA documents, and hopefully there's a continuation, or at least you guys can work something out where they might take some of the burden off upkeep of the road going in and out. You're gonna have more traffic. I don't know, those homes are gonna travel in and out, and I would suspect the developer wouldn't have looked into it unless he knew he could use that road in and out, so.
Yeah.
Whether it says Lincoln Street or whatever, I'm sure that they know what they're doing.
Right, and one of the other questions that came up from another owner is the secondary access road for fire. Right now, we have one off of Leanne Way for parcel A. Is there going to be a separate one required for parcel B? Is that a separate, or is that a matter for
It's not
separate
gonna be,
meeting?
it's not gonna be required, and I'm not sure they have any access out.
Thank you.
If I might ask, Mr. Chairman, if someone can inform me of the name of the council for the condominium association, that would help me jumpstart.
I'm not sure that they've had a vote yet. I mean, she said it's gonna change, but maybe those people resigned. I don't know who's, have you, Diane, have you had a vote yet?
There, I don't think, well, at our next meeting, we'll have the 3 new trustees will be seated.
Okay.
There were just, we have 3 trustees, and there were just 3 people that put their name in, so there probably will formally be a vote, but and
Well, I know
don't
how that works. You
Yeah.
put 3 names in it. You put 3 names in, it saves you mailing all the vote
Yeah.
tabulation papers out. So those 3 people will get to be the fortunate ones that sit on the board.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
not
did-
sure that the current board has actually, I'm not sure if they have counselor yet or not. So that's something that we're going to have to make sure, the next set of trustees will have to make sure that there is counsel involved.
Thank you.
Mark?
Okay,
I'll send you the
Yeah.
relevant documents, but as Bruce Wheeler said, this is a separate development. It's not part of the existing condominium. So I will send you the relevant documents, which, the property that's the subject of the condominium and the original development was never owned by the people who developed, we'll call it parcel A or the condominium development. It just never was owned by that fellow. And in fact, eventually was foreclosed and brings it to the people who own it today that we're buying it from. But I'll send you, the relevant documents tomorrow or on Monday, so you can spend your days reading them if you want.
Thank
Okay, and
you.
I'll point out where I think, the rights are that control whatever we're talking about here.
Thank you.
Okay,
Diane, another question. I don't know, you haven't had the vote yet, but I don't know if you can contact Mr. Wheeler or you can give some information out, or maybe you can call, leave a message with Casey or call, would like to get the names of the new, potential new HOA people. I guess so that, we're not coming back here. I'm not sure. What is the date that the HOA meets?
Oh, I don't have that on,
Around April
not sure
14th.
offhand.
It's around April 14th. It may be April 14th.
That sounds in the right time frame.
Okay. The people that didn't run again, the people that are gone, are they still there? Are they still around? I mean, obviously, Mr. Wheeler must have contact with them. Do you think that they would know who the new board's going to be so that there's no lack of communication between the 2 of you?
Well,
Yes, well, there's just going to be 3 people on the board. I will be one of them, and then there's 2 additional people.
Okay.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, I can get that information. I'm in contact with the property manager as well.
Okay, great.
who-
Okay.
Who's been organizing information and communication. So I can.
Okay.
I can get that.
Yeah, I just don't want to come back here in a month and then you say, wow, geez, nobody wants to talk to us. So,
I'll sort through it so that I'm talking
Okay.
to the right people.
all right. Mark, anything else we need before we put this out?
I think we just pick a date and continue, Mr. Chairman.
Well, it'll be April 21st.
Perfect.
I think we have something else. Casey, do we have something else on the agenda first? Did you already give them a time? Or no, I know we had another one.
They can go at 7:30 for April
Okay.
21st. Yeah,
Yeah, 7:30 then.
PM.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to continue this until April 21st, 2022 at 7:30 PM.
So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, roll call vote. Archie,
aye, yes,
Philip,
Yes.
chair votes yes. I guess that covers it. That was the motion to continue it. So, okay. All right, we're done. Thank you, everyone. See you in a month.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Night.
good night.
Time being approximately 7:40 PM, 19 Dean Ave Development Partners LLC. I think we got a letter for that, Bruce.
Yeah, we've got a letter from the attorney involved asking for continuation until April 21st. Casey, we got one other one. I'd rather put this one on last, seeing as how they've been continued the longest. So if we put them at, well, we can make it 7. The next ones are gonna be on, so, I mean, we can make it 7:45. And we got, you actually have one that's in the pipeline, right? Casey, we can
Pipeline,
make that
yes.
like 7:40 then. You know, that way they would, in case they want to continue again, we won't be there all night, but anyway, I don't know what time it is now, but yeah, well, we covered a half hour with the other one, but everybody be happy, but anyway, I'll entertain a motion to continue this until April 21st, 2022 at 7:45 PM.
So moved.
Second it.
Motion made and seconded, roll call vote. Chair votes yes. Philip,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
done.
Okay, time being approximately 7:45 PM. 58 Anchorage Road, Joshua and Kate Gates. Applicant is seeking to construct a 20 by 10, 10.25 by 16 and 7.25 addition that is 15.7 feet from the right side yard setback where 40 is required and 30.2 from the left side setback where 40 is required. The building permit is denied without a variance from ZBA.
The applicant's present.
Yep,
Yep.
bye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They sound like my kids. Anyway, any abutters for 58 Anchorage Road? Just in case they're out there. I give them a minute. Sometimes they gotta punch in. Okay, hearing none, it's up to the applicants to tell us what you want to do. Ball's in your court. You gotta
What we
explain.
want,
Yeah, you gotta explain what you're doing here.
yeah, so we would like to build a small master bedroom with a bathroom where our deck is right now. And so we would demolish our deck and put a bedroom there.
Okay, and you're encroaching on some of the sidelines, I guess, or something?
Yeah, we had the architect draw up the plans. We had no idea. He came in halfway and said that we are encroaching. But it would pretty much go right where our deck is.
And we've talked to our neighbors and they have no problem with it. Obviously, the abutters aren't here to, say anything about it. And
Listen, if they're not here, that's a good thing for you. You know?
yeah,
The only thing that could be better if they were here and they spoke in favor.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
Oh,
had
we should've
one
gotten them
actually.
to do
yeah.
that.
We probably could have got some of them too.
Yeah, well, that's always nice. The only time we ever get anybody is when they want to complain. But I actually got a call today that, or maybe it was yesterday, saying that you were good people and you should give them what they want.
Oh,
Oh,
well, thank you to
Yeah.
that person.
appreciate that.
Anyway, okay, I'll go through seeing as how there was no abutters, I'll go through the board. Megan, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I guess just, well, a comment. I know these non-conforming lots are, they're tricky.
Well, I'll just tell you how, this is like Skyline Estates, that we had a recent one like that. These lots, when they were originally approved, were small lots, they were built appropriately, but in the meantime, the town in its wisdom decided to rezone these parcels, and I think this is rural residential 1, so that's the most restrictive or the biggest lots and the biggest setbacks and everything else, which these houses couldn't meet if you had 2 of them together, probably, so they're in a situation where they want to, improve their property, and the only way that you can do it is through a variance, for sideline setbacks. So that's why they're here.
Oh, yeah, right. And so, I guess my only question would just be, and I know like it's a split level house, and that's where the bedrooms are on the on the right side of the house, so it makes perfect sense that you'd want to put a master addition there. So like having it be on the left side of the house, right, that would be off the kitchen, I assume, and probably just wouldn't make any sense. Is that accurate?
It would be off our dining room, adjacent to our
Right.
kitchen.
Right, which would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chris, any questions, comments?
No, no questions, Mr. Chairman. Looks like a good project. Be a good addition to the house.
Okay. Archie,
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman. No questions.
okay, Philip,
Nope, nice to keep good people in Franklin.
okay. And I'll ask one more time, is there any abutters or anybody else? Because some people get on the call and because they don't think they're an abutter, they can't speak or comment, but is anybody that's on the call or on the Zoom broadcast here wish to make any comments or ask a question? Okay, with none speaking, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Well,
Second it.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Roll call vote. Philip,
yes,
Archie,
Yes.
chair votes yes. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion. It's a special permit, correct?
No, it's a variance, it's sideline
Okay.
setback variances, yeah,
I-
2 of them.
Called out in our paperwork here, so. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the variance for 58 Anchorage Road for Joshua and Kate Gates to remove an existing deck and in its place build a 20-foot, 10 1/4 by 16-foot, 7 1/4 single-story addition. As shown on the drawing dated December 2nd, 2021, entitled proposed addition plan of land for Franklin, Mass. Owner is Kate and Joshua Gates, 58 Anchorage Road, Franklin, Mass. By Colonial Engineering, 11 All Street, Medway, Mass. The would also be seeking relief from the right side setback of 24.3 feet, bringing it down to 15.7 feet where 40 feet is required, and 9.8 feet on the left side, bringing it down to 30.2 feet where 40 feet is required. I think that's it.
Okay,
Sec-
all right, just before we get to, all right, motion made and seconded, any discussion? To the applicants, I see a shed there. How big is that shed?
I'd guess it'd be like a 10 by 8.
How tall is
How tall? It's a little less than a story, probably.
it? Okay, maybe you ought to just check with the building commissioner, because I think it's a little bit too close to the lot line. And we're giving you some relief. I don't know if it's got a concrete base or if it's got you can slide it somewhere else, move it over.
Right.
I don't know if it's gonna, you're probably gonna, I don't know if you're gonna come in there with construction equipment to get by there anyway. Maybe you gotta move it. But if you were to move it, I'd like to, get it so that it complies. It's gotta be at least a minimum 10 feet off the sideline.
Okay, is that a definite? We have to move it, or?
Well, I mean, it's not up to me. I'm not the zoning enforcement officer, but it's shown on the plan here, so you kind of let the cat out of the bag. I mean, you showed us that you may have a violation there. It depends on the size of the building, how many cubic feet I think it is, or how big it is. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but maybe you should check with the building commissioner. I mean, you might be able to slide it back, or slide it back and over a little bit. I don't know. It's just a shed, right?
Yeah, correct. Is there any leeway because it was here before we bought the house?
Maybe they got a permit for it back in the day. I don't know.
I checked and they didn't.
Okay.
Our architect seemed to think that if it was a certain amount of years when they built it, then it wouldn't matter. That's why I included the photo.
Okay. Well, I didn't notice the photo. You mean the photo, the above photo? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, that's the only way I could figure out how old it was, because other than calling the old owner, I have no idea. But I
Yeah,
found
well,
a,
you know, listen, if it predates zoning or if there's enough time, then maybe he'll just, you know, say that it's okay, you know,
okay,
because you're free from prosecution, but it still doesn't make it right, whether it's past, you know, a certain time or not. I think it's after
okay,
6 or 7 years, you're free from prosecution, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to fix it, you know?
okay.
So, anyway, I mean, this comes up every once in a while, so, but anyway. All right, that's my only comment. All right, motion made and seconded, discussion's over. Unless anybody else has anything they want to add. Hearing none, the vote will come on the motion. Roll call vote. Chair votes yes. Philip,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
okay, passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of January 27th, 2022. That was the last time we met? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I totally spaced that meeting. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I know. You didn't show up or nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I think I don't, well, yeah, I think I probably, I don't know if I probably forgot to text you that time too, but anyway. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Chris, Mickey, Megan, were you here? Either one of you? Yeah, you guys were here.
Megan was voting.
Megan.
aye.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, sir. Yeah, I can second that.
Okay, thank you. Motion made and second. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor by roll call vote say yes. Megan,
Yes.
Philip,
Yes.
chair votes yes. We do have a meeting on April 7th. I think at the moment, there's only one application on it. I haven't seen it, but I might have seen it. Gus sent me something the other day, but anyway, that's it, right, Casey? Just the one?
Yes, one.
So you gotta be awake. But
I'm
anyway,
awake,
all right,
awake.
good. All right, with all that being said, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, roll call vote. The chair votes yes. Philip,
Yes.
Archie.
Yes.
See that, Peter? I got